I'm Iulian, and I'll be your moderator for this panel, which is about leveraging the power of AI in the blockchain projects. Tonight or today, depending where you are, we are with Dr. Mihaela Ulieru from Impact, Cara from Ammolite Analytx, Cassius Morea for Email 3, and Ibby Benali from SingularityNet. So for the start, please tell a few words about yourself. So Dr. Ulieru, please.
Hi, yes. Hi, everyone. And thank you for inviting me to this amazing event. As I was sharing with you, I'm still learning from every panel, which was before. I am an expert in distributed artificial intelligence. And when I say that, I refer to robots which work together and can be coordinated. But there are two ways to implement this, and that is centralized and decentralized. And the speaker before was mentioning about this centralized networks like Facebook and Google. So what I'm in for and what I'm fighting for is actually solving the data conundrum and empowering the individuals through decentralization. And I'm going to speak a lot about this and about the companies which I advise that are championing this new way of looking at the world.
Thanks very much. So Cara, please.
Hi there, I'm the founder and CEO of Ammolite Analytx. I'm currently working on cybersecurity software and hardware development tools using artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies, and quantum computing. Thank you for inviting me to this panel and to this great conference. It's very exciting for me to be on an international panel and learn from all of the speakers that are presenting today. And I'm excited to continue this conversation with you and the rest of the panel members.
Thanks very much. Cassius, please.
Hi, I'm Cassius, co-founder and CEO of Imagery AI. Imagery, we are building a solution which is dedicated to customer services for this customer service automation.
Cassius, we cannot hear you very well, sorry. You can speak a little louder, maybe microphone closer.
Do you hear me? Is it better?
A little bit.
Okay, so I was saying founder and CEO of Imagery AI, which is a solution dedicated to customer services, hyper-automation. Basically, we are understanding emails and intents inside, getting information from different databases, and then generate responses and triggering action databases. And of course, being here in this panel, I'm thinking about 1 year ago, how to combine AI and blockchain, and there are some interesting ideas.
Thank you very much. And Ibby?
Hi, my name is Ibby. So I work for SingularityNet as technical marketing manager. So SingularityNet developed a protocol for decentralized AI. Our marketplace is a showcase of a couple of these AI algorithms that are hosted within the SingularityNet registry, which is connected to an Ethereum smart contract. Anybody can publish AI services on our platform. Anybody can buy AI services on our platform. It is open for all, and we are really excited about what blockchain will mean for a new paradigm shift and how we design intelligent infrastructures for the world.
Okay, thank you. The first question I have prepared for you is about the relation between the AI and blockchain technology. What are the goals of AI and blockchain integrations?
Yes, if I may just start from the perspective of artificial intelligence, because there are two ways, and the title of this panel is how does the AI help blockchain? But, in most of my work concerns the opposite side of the coin, which is how does blockchain enable AI? And so when is AI for blockchain, I think is mainly what you refer to is mainly trading algorithms and how can AI and help those crypto traders. But the reverse is, blockchain enables a revolution in how we think about leveraging big data and analytics. And that is enabling a data economy through two important aspects. The first is sovereignty, and that is a choice in providing your data to someone. So blockchain enables you to make that choice. And secondly, it is accountability for those who are using our data. And that is to see, enabling us to see how it is used and where it is used, by what kind of engines. And of course, I can talk a lot about that, but the main advantage is that it helps us to escape the tyranny of the centralized cartels, which are actually ripping us about our data, and like this piracy, which is done, and they get rich on our data. And the second one is they enable personalization of this analytics. So I can access powerful engines, powerful algorithms, which only, let's say, the big companies can buy. But now I can only ask one question. So this fractionalization that I can, through tokenization, have access to a portion of that powerful engine and still make use of it as an individual.
That's great. Next.
I think tapping into that blockchain technology and like how it, for example, works at SingularityNet, is that it really gives developers, AI developers, a chance to monetize their AI algorithms in a different way. So you first have all these big tech companies that are often buying up AI startups. They get the best AI developers out there, and then you have all these knots, so to say, of big power in this global network, where these big companies basically have a say of how AI will work in the future for us all. And what we all know is that technology has such a great impact on our lives. And it's in a handful of just a couple of companies. What blockchain allows us to do is it allows us to create an alternative era within this technical space, where individual AI developers may choose to contribute their AI algorithms to more of a commons type of network. So everybody can have a say within this network, and it is not only limited to business decisions and for the shareholders. No, everybody can actually chip in, and it actually builds this infrastructure for them. So what we can do is we can use the blockchain to create a registry of AI services, similar to how Netflix has all these movies in a registry, so to say. That's what we can do actually with AI services as well. And when you have a bunch of AI services together, they can actually make each other intelligent as well. And they can tap into each other's powers as well. And then you can create federations of AI that can work together to actually execute a task. And it's all owned by the people. It's not owned by one single person or one foundation like SingularityNet. Even we don't own it. It's actually from us all. So that is why I think that blockchain is very important for AI. And I think that the power of AI really comes forth by using it all together and contributing to it all together, because we all together define the future, essentially.
Thank you very much. Someone has something to add to this subject?
I can say something. In our case, it's more like blockchain is going to help us because in our situation, we need a lot of data set to train the models, to train the algorithms. And this means that, for example, when somebody wants to open an account with our solution, we would like to be able to ask that person, which languages would you prefer to work with? Which is your activities prefer, like notary, like library, and so on, and which are the domains that you prefer to work with. But previously, if it's the first or second or third person that is doing that training, maybe he or she will not be satisfied by the results, but the suggestions replied by the machine, proposed by the machine. So if we can bring inside humans that are training the algorithms by simply feeding the machine with texts, with questions and answers that we need, that the algorithms need to learn from, then we can create a sort of market where we will use the blockchain in order to pay the contributors, and those contributors are have different levels of and different skills. Some of them may may feed raw data. Others may come at a second level and refine. And then you have a third level and a fourth level coming and refine even more. And then the last step is to approve what was done before. So if we use blockchain and all the tools that are offered through blockchain, we can remunerate, we can pay the services that are done and doing micropayments for these contributors. Otherwise, it will be very, very hard for a solution like us to grow, because we need the power of the community that contributes to leverage and to bring more satisfaction and the confidence level into the responses that we are proposing.
Okay, interesting approach. Cara, you have something else to add?
I'm just listening to everybody, and one of the things we're seeing is a difficulty in adopting the technology. So corporations are struggling with trying to understand how to use AI, how to use blockchain, and so we're doing a lot of education on both of those technologies, and then combining them together to identify different use cases where this technology can be used to drive profitability within organizations. So the challenges that we're seeing in the workforce, especially in cybersecurity, is the rate and sophistication of malware and ransomware attacks using AI, and they're stealing crypto wallets and cryptocurrency wallets. One of the things we're seeing, but it's a human condition that we need to educate and simplify so people can understand it in order to adopt these technologies more quickly.
Basically, what I'm thinking at is that between AI and blockchain, in some use cases, AI can be much easier to deploy in a way, but and blockchain, there is it's harder to explain to a common person. Let's say to everybody, it's harder to understand. So if we if we introduce this technology and we allow to a lot of people to use it combined with other technologies, then the adoption and the use cases that are built around blockchain are easier to understand, then produce effects and benefits for both enterprises like us and users and contributors. So it's also a way for us to popularize, to democratize the solution, the blockchain in a way.
Yes, and here I can just jump in because I agree with all what Cara was saying. We need those killer applications in which we really can show how artificial intelligence and blockchain together can work. For example, BitLumens, I don't know how many of you know, they are using artificial intelligence to put analytics on personal data of people who choose to give their data in exchange for solar panels in poor parts of, let's say, Guatemala. We have projects there, and Malaysia. And in exchange for that, they get credit. And with that credit for good behavior, they get loans from banks. So there's a lot of applications where we can really empower the individual, poverty, and so on and so forth through the so-called marriage of blockchain and AI, which we could not achieve otherwise without the decentralization, without the people's choices, unless really definitely we infringe on their rights. So I think the killer apps are the solution here, Cara. Adoption.
Yes.
Did you just take my next question, which was if you can provide the real life examples, what Dr. Ulieru has made, and others will be just great appreciated, I think, if you have other examples of usage.
Yes, and I just wanted to say I call this the data economy, but there are others, like as I mentioned before. For example, Endor is offering the powerful prediction engine to individuals to chip in, like at a fraction of the cost of their engine. I'm sure my colleagues have many more.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, recently we organized a COVID-a-thon. So it was a hackathon where we asked developers to build both decentralized AI solutions for the pandemic. And actually, there were 124 projects that came through the first selection only. And there were over 1,100 or over 1,000 or something participants. So it is clear that in times of crisis, we can get actually very creative as to how to use this type of technology. And like one of the things that was a problem during this pandemic is the sharing of information and the sharing of software. And there was actually a partner of us called Nth Opinion, founded by two brothers who are also doctors and are currently working at the front line of this pandemic. And they used the blockchain, and they're using AI to actually create a interface for doctors to exchange knowledge quicker and to actually also find research about COVID-19 quicker across the world. So they're not only isolated in the US with the information that they have there, but they can actually also get information from even doctors in China about what is happening there and how they're dealing with it. So the use cases are definitely there. It is definitely a technology that just breaks boundaries. It's beyond boundaries. It's beyond politics. So the point is that everybody can contribute to it, and then you have to figure out, okay, when it is a technology that is intended for everybody to participate in it, is it even actually the most optimal technology to just hoard on, or should you actually build open source systems that can actually benefit a bigger whole, and then on top of that you can do whatever specialty your company is executing on, right? So it is a shared technology, and it's being used for a variety of use cases. So I think that it can definitely be successful in the long term, especially when it matures more.
Thank you very much. Very good example. Maybe someone else can.
On our side, we thought that we really need to be very transparent and honest with the persons who are going to help us to feed our knowledge base and to train the models and algorithms. And that is why we have to be transparent with those people and say, we need your services. If you help us, here is the way that we propose to remunerate. You can no longer say to people, just give me your help, give me your data, and thank you. We will do a lot of things with it, and then on the other side, you will get some profits because you sell that data or the services that you gathered from outside. So it's a very honest way to say to them, I need you. I need your service. I need your help and information. I need your annotation, because we are speaking also about annotations, improving this knowledge base. And at the end, there is this difficulty. How do you pay those people because they helped you? You cannot have payrolls for thousands of people. So here comes the facilitating, the blockchain that and everything that is inside, and that helps us with those micro payments and the incentives that you can create and you can push into this platform are helping us to say to each person who is taking a part into this platform, to say, if you perform better, if you help us better, if you do, if you help us improve in a way or another what we are building, you are going to the next level of payment, and so on, then it's approved by seniors or admin users, and this is a much easier way and transparent to thank you in a way to the people who are helping us.
Yes, no, I agree. And so you can incentivize a lot of activity and catalyze communities through those utility tokens, which, you know, were spoken about before as well. But so, for example, so you can incentivize people to build new businesses on your algorithms. But you also can incentivize people, as you are mentioning, to improve your algorithms, as well as to partner with you with their businesses and then share the rewards. So that is something which definitely the blockchain enables through these micropayments. I think this is an amazing and very powerful thing. And I'd like just to say that it's also a departure. So from this centralized platform in which we were thinking, like, if you build it, they will come. You know, now we are returning or turning the coin. Like, if they come, they will build it, and that's exactly what this incentive mechanism is doing. So it really entices people to improve the platform versus just to stay as passive consumers of the services which the centralized platforms provide.
Okay, very great sharings. And I want to ask you about your favorite industry where the blockchain and AI technologies apply. And maybe to think about the industries that are not agreeing yet with blockchain technologies. Do you think using AI will bring more of them into the game, or the opposite?
I think you're going to always have your traditional industries. And if you take the financial services industries, they were very slow to embrace blockchain technologies until they realized the benefit and the power and started doing their own R&D in this space. But where you're disrupting the money and major disruptions, you're going to find the most resistance. So if they're against, and many firms are against technology altogether, so it wouldn't matter if it's AI or if it's blockchain or if it's 5G, they're just anti-innovation and anti-accepting of emerging technologies. So those traditional industries will most likely stay the same until they're forced to disrupt. Like COVID forced the healthcare community to start looking at new technologies like blockchain, like AI, but it took a pandemic to get them to move, because up until then they've been very resistant and very reluctant. That's the same with government entities or any kind of entity that has deep infrastructure and hasn't really kept up with their infrastructure. A lot of the infrastructure within corporations needs to be upgraded in order to be enabled to handle this kind of technology. A lot of them haven't even done their digital transformation yet, and they haven't done their process optimization. So that work all has to be done, and until they get on board to do that work prior to adopting these technologies, I think we're still going to see some resistance.
Also, if I may add, one of the tactics that we liked is to talk to number 3, 4, second in a market. And then since they all need to transform in a way or another to find some digital solutions and services and solutions that can help them first, help them in the daily based work. Then, of course, it was COVID-19 crisis and so on. But if you talk to those outsiders, not outsider, but number 2, 3, 4, they are more likely to adopt the new technologies. I mean, faster than the number 1, who is quite comfortable in that place. And this is what we observed, that it happened with us. So and now these players are asking us, what do you propose more in order to accelerate? And we go there with every 2-3 weeks, and we propose new combinations of technologies, new ideas, and then they say, well, sounds good, let's see what we can do. So in a way, I think that the technology, some of them are really hard to understand, others are more touchable, But at the end, if you show also that this technology helped some other company to improve efficiency, and that company, which is your competitor, is now changing the rules and is taking some percentage on the market. Now maybe they are starting to move in the direction to adopt the new technologies. But it's indeed it's hard. It's taking time.
Yes, and to take on from here, my favorite example is the advertisement industry, which is actually a clear example of how the centralized cartels are benefiting from our data. So now with blockchain, what we can do, and there are companies which are actually spearheading such models, is to reward individuals for looking at an advertisement, to give them the choice to actually look at certain advertisements. And these rewards can range from, for example, a discount at a product, and so on and so forth. So there are many things, and of course it's like, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's a revolution in how we use our data when we talk about artificial intelligence and blockchain, and delve into this data economy and use the data as currency for our own benefit, for we the people.
Yeah, I just want to tap into that. Like one thing that we do need to be, aware of is that, so there's this conversation ongoing about a potential UBI, for example, for, because AI maybe using more and more data might automate like a lot of things. People are being put out of a job. And then there is this UBI solution that will magically solve it all. I think what we need to be aware of as well within this industry is that UBI is essentially the first bid for the data, right? So it's the first bid. It's like, we're gonna give you $1,000 a month. Now let's see if you'll be quiet. if that will do. That's actually what is being done, right, with UBI. Instead, you could be thinking about data dividends as well, right? If we are all continuously providing data, and this is all being recorded anyway, right? Why aren't we going to look at how much value this data actually created? Like, why did this data? How much? What is the value of it that it can automate away an entire, job for everybody in the world? Then we're going to be talking really about what is fair. And I think that $1,000 a month suddenly is maybe a bit of a cheap price for all this data that we have contributed throughout our lifetimes. And the only way to get insight into this and what is actually being done is if you do have a system that has recorded every transaction and every exchange, right? And that it is visible for all, yet pseudonymous, right? So that it's not, your privacy is not being compromised. And when you have that, then you can really talk about transparency and what is fair. Because otherwise, your best bid will be probably something that is being made up at the Facebook boardroom as to what they think is fair for you. Yeah, so that would be my input about this. Yeah, curious to hear what you guys are thinking.
Thank you very much. This was a great conversation, and I feel we can do it forever. This AI subject is very complex, and unfortunately, this is our time here in this panel. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and I hope everybody has learned something and has the benefit of this.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.